Wherever you go in the world, anybody who kind of is interested in aviation or airplanes at all, if you mention Tucson, you know, their eyes light up, oh, that's where the Boneyards are, right? Yeah, that's where the Boneyards are. The idea that a lot of people have is that the Boneyard is really a boneyard, like a graveyard, where it's a very static kind of place where nothing happens. It's anything but, as you may have seen. It's a very heavily engaged, dynamic, busy organization that's tasked with supporting, you know, the mission of the United States Air Force and its allies, and that's a huge amount of work.
You got it, senor.
Do we store airplanes? We sure do. But that's not what's important about us for the Department of Defense. The most important thing we do is support the warfighter through different technologies and through different operations. We have 5 major processes that we do here. The first is storage, which most people are familiar with, taking an airplane, preserving it here and keeping it in the desert for future use.
Our role is to preserve incoming aircraft. Well, we first started out by taping up all the seams of the engine. That's what we're working on, the B-52 back here behind me. And then after that, we sprayed the first coat of rubberized coating, basically to prevent dust and bird intrusion from getting into the engines and trying to keep them as clean as possible.
A large number of the aircraft go through what's called regeneration, where we will take them and we will return them to flyable status in order to use them for different programs. For example, we're regenerating F-4s that are used as drones so that our pilots can shoot live missiles at them to identify whether or not they would have been able to hit a target in combat.
These aircraft that were produced in 66, 67, 68, 69, you're rebuilding an aircraft that was made almost 40 years ago and has spent the last 20 years sitting in the desert in storage. So it's a tremendous task to take that airplane out of the desert, rebuild it, and then get it back into flying shape. At least 40% of what we use to regenerate this aircraft will come from another F-4 that's sitting out in the desert.
Each and every day we reclaim about 50 parts off of the aircraft here and send them to keep the aircraft fleet that they have right now current and flying.
We have tons of great parts out here and no sense in letting them go to waste. So 90% of the stuff we pull is just as good as anything as a brand new part. It's just dirty. There's very few parts that I've pulled since I've been out here that were deemed bad.
There is a savings of dollars when we reclaim parts from here at the Boneyard, but that's not actually the biggest benefit. The largest number of parts we reclaim cannot be bought, and therefore, if without the parts that we reclaim here at the Boneyard, we'd stop flying.
Yep, that's it.
So a lot of different things occur here all the time. We also do a little bit of disposal, taking aircraft that nobody has a need for anymore within the entire federal government and actually getting rid of them, cutting them up into tiny pieces and getting rid of them.
And it takes a total about, for C5, processing and shipping out about a week. We're demilling the fuselage of a C5. Basically what we do is we just tear it down, we shred it up, and then we send it off to refineries to be processed into other materials.
I can see we're driving down the road and some of the aircraft and missing wings and missing the canopy. They think, yeah, it's a junkyard or the boneyard. Yeah, but they don't realize that missing wing might be flying in another aircraft. Some of us retired military think that that's it, we don't do nothing else, but no, we continue with our mission.
For the full story, visit youtube.com/AFBlueTube. From the Air Force Broadcasting Service, I'm Senior Airman Alina Richard.